Are you a female approaching 40, experiencing night sweats, vaginal dryness, and hot flashes? Have you considered whether or not you're perimenopausal? Have your cycles started to become more infrequent or more irregular? If so, then you're definitely perimenopausal. If your cycles still haven't changed yet, but you're near 40 or over 40, you're still perimenopausal and you're on your way to the ovaries senescing and your hormonal axis going offline. How can you go into and through to the end of menopause optimally and as healthy as possible and come out of it with as least symptoms as possible? That's what we're talking about today. I'm Dr. John Bartemus, and I'm putting the pieces together to help you live a life at optimal. Progesterone and estrogen during the premenopause state, so all the way up to perimenopause, progesterone and estrogen are made primarily by the ovaries with some lesser contribution by the adrenal glands. But as you go into perimenopause, what's happening is the ovaries are senescing or beginning to go offline. And once you're through or postmenopausal, the ovaries are no longer contributing hormones for you. So the majority are coming from your adrenal glands and your adipose tissue or fat cells. So postmenopausally, your sources of progesterone and estrogen are your adrenals, which hopefully they're healthy, and your fat cells. If you go into perimenopause with adrenal glands that are unhealthy, you're going to have a much harder transition, a much more symptomatic transition as the ovaries come offline and the adrenals take over than you would if you entered perimenopause with healthy adrenals. Because obviously if you have healthy adrenals, that transition of ovaries off, adrenals taking over would be much smoother. So what can you do to optimize adrenal health going into perimenopause to optimize your journey through the menopausal pathway? Well, the adrenals are affected by many things. One is blood sugar and insulin regulation. So you want to be on top of your blood sugar and insulin physiology so that adrenals and sex hormones aren't interfered with or dysfunctional because of that reason. Two, your systemic inflammatory levels play a big role because systemic inflammation or inflammation in general requires cortisol as an anti-inflammatory to be dealt with. So if you're asking the adrenals for cortisol all the time to put out inflammation, then your balance between using cortisol, the adrenals producing cortisol and producing sex hormones is going to be off and biased towards the cortisol. Three, your gut health. If your gut health is off, that can interfere with hormone metabolism, sex hormone metabolism specifically. And so if you have bad bacteria in your gut that don't allow you to detoxify the hormones properly, you can end up with estrogen dominance type symptoms because of second pass metabolism due to bacteria. And then four, that wraps in the liver part of the picture. If your liver detoxification is suboptimal or insufficient, then you may not clear hormones properly and again can have hormonal symptoms, not because of your ability to produce or producing too much, but because maybe the liver isn't clearing them properly. So a holistic approach to a healthy path through perimenopause to postmenopause is to have healthy blood sugar and insulin levels, normal inflammatory levels or not a high inflammatory load, a healthy gut, and a healthy liver to get started. There's also many nutrients that matter. Nutrition obviously matters in all of this, and sleep cycles are a big one because sleep deprivation is a big stressor. So if you're sleep deprived, that can throw off your whole adrenal axis and lead to hormone issues as well. So this is just a primer on getting into perimenopause and through as healthy as possible. And adrenals are a big piece to this because the adrenals and your fat cells are what are going to carry on for hormone production for you once your ovaries go offline. So Start today in optimizing your global health so that your hormonal health is optimal.